Hello and welcome to Mishmash Soup. My name is Melissa and I am here to invite you to my random stream of consciousness. So in studio we have my co-host, Franklin, aka the Classy Queer. Say hi, Franklin.
Hey guys, it's good to be back.
Yeah, so shall we start stirring that soup?
I think we do. What's for dessert?
So anyway, it's been really hot lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, especially when you had me come up here to help you with bringing those water jugs. It was,
oh my God.
I felt really muggy and I hate that feeling of just being muggy, especially inside your clothes, like you don't want to move or anything.
Oh, I know, right?
Yes.
So for all of y'all, it's like 93, but literally the real feel is like 100.
Yeah, because of the humidity factor.
It's oppressively humid. This is Texas, so...
Well, mostly it's dry heat. For the most part, like this reminds me of summers in Maine, where it was like really humid. Ugh, I hate that.
Oh, remember the black flies in Maine?
Oh God, yeah.
Gosh, you would walk outside and they were like, it was like a veil of little tiny black things all around you. I hated those.
Speaking of little tiny black things and veils, and oh my gosh, I forgot. I forgot Teddy is in here. Hold on, I'm gonna let him out. Sorry for those of you who heard that.
That's my grand doggy, my little Shih Tzu named Teddy.
He's my little Shih Tzu baby, and he's so adorable. He's so old.
He is, but he's spoiled.
He's spoiled, but he barked because he wanted to get on top of the bed with me because he's blind and he's old. He's like 17.
And he's hard of hearing, too.
Hard of hearing, so the little bugger just wants to be near somebody at all times just to make sure that he's safe.
Yes, you're his mama.
So what I was saying was, speaking about little black flies and things like that, we had a fly issue yesterday. Or
where?
So on my back patio, I have that enclosed area because I purchased that mesh screen.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and like what I have here on the lanai.
So I enclosed the back patio area. So when I walked out there to let Teddy out, to do his business, I saw a whole bunch of flies.
What?
That were
what
on
is
the
this,
that
like
were
the fly in the part 2.
So they were on the back patio, inside the enclosed area, on the screen, and they were all chilling there. And I was like, "What the hell? Why are there so many flies?" Well,
they were chilling with their 40. Chilling with their 40.
They were doing something. They were not invited, that's for sure.
Oh God, they crashed. Okay, so good. Tell me.
So I'm like, first of all, it disgusted me because we like to sometimes keep the door open to like let fresh air come in, but they were all there, so we don't want flies in the house.
Yeah, they lay their eggs everywhere. Ew.
Yeah, so what I did, I looked at the patio, and sure enough, the reason why they were all hanging there is because if you think about it, flies like organic material. They like rotting food. They like rotting organic compost, stuff like that. So sure enough, on the perimeter of the patio, there was a whole bunch of like dead roly-polies.
Ew.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of them.
It was like a buffet.
Yes. So what happened was because here in Texas we have like during certain months we have like the June bug season.
Oh my God, Steve calls them bad pilots.
Yeah.
Because you know why? They're blind. That's why they bump into everything. And when they get stuck in your hair, I have a fear of them.
Yeah, and actually it's happened to me twice already where I've been jogging out at night and I felt something hit me, and sure enough it was a June bug. I know those are like really large. For those who don't know what those are like large brown like fat beetles that fly.
Yeah, they're blind.
Well, they're guided by the moonlight, and so in suburban areas you have a lot of street lamps, and so that's what kind of confuses them. That's why they're seen as clumsy pilots, is because they really are just being misguided by tons of light that's outside when they're supposed to be guided by the moonlight. So I've been jogging before, and they've literally have flown into my head, or they've landed on my shirt, and it's like, ooh,
and they cling because they have these little they have these appendages that are they're like hooks.
Well, it's the hair on their legs that are really sharp, and it clings to things. So yeah, you have to literally swipe them off.
I hate them.
So we have this issue in Texas where, there's during certain seasons, we have the June bugs that come in. And then we also have roly-polies, especially if it's been a particularly moist, week.
Yes, and we've had lots of rain.
Yeah, so they come out and they come out in mass.
Droves.
Yes, and they basically start to walk on the patios. If you happen to have a patio, they'll just kind of chill there and eat whatever dead compost they can find.
Ew.
Well, here's the thing: if they dry out wherever they're at, if they dry out, they die right then and there. So on my back patio, we had a ton, just a graveyard of roly-polies and June bugs. And so that's...
It's like AKA the Golden Corral at Franklin's backyard.
Exactly.
Bring all the flies.
So all the flies must have smelt that dead matter, and they just decided to have a little buffet, and then I'm assuming they reproduced, and then because it's an enclosed area, they had no way to escape. So sure enough, I went to go brush the dead material off my patio.
Open up the little...
And when I got close to those areas, it smelled like dead meat.
Ew.
It smelled like rotting material.
Like rotting... Ugh.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, so that's the issue right there. So I cleaned it up and...
Hopefully, are the flies gone?
Yeah, the flies are gone.
No wonder you were like, Manny was telling me yesterday when I made yesterday some banana pudding with the vanilla wafers and some bananas. It's like a southern thing here.
It was so good. And
I made way too much because I'm a Hispanic mom. And so I called them and I said, hey, I have enough for 2 pans, a regular pan and a small one. Do y'all want it so y'all can have it for dessert? It's a nice treat. And he's like, oh yeah. And then I was like, texting my son, when are you going to come? And he said, and then Manny told me, because my son's notorious for not checking his phone.
Well, because I hate feeling I hate feeling attached to it. So I will literally set it down, and I never have my ringer on unless I'm at work. Then I'll put my ringer on to be able to get important phone calls and stuff. But if I'm at home, I keep that ringer off, and if I happen to see something, if I happen to see a message or if I happen to see the phone ringing, then I'll answer it.
And so he said, oh no, Franklin is cleaning. So now I know he was basically doing dead body removal from his backyard. But,
and it wasn't just that too. I had to I recently carpet steamed. Well, I steamed my carpet, and so I did that. I had to vacuum today or yesterday. And,
did Teddy go and he marked his territory? Like the last time I was laughing, they had shampooed their carpet, and then they told me the very next day he piddled, and I'm like, what?
But it's 'cause, I know. But the thing is, we never the few times that Teddy has accidents, we never discipline him.
Yeah, no, you're not supposed to.
Because I don't believe in.
They don't know.
First of all, hitting your pet.
No.
Or the one thing I hate is when they will rub their animal's face into their feces or into the urine.
I could think of a few people that would probably, best be suited for.
it's not helpful. It just traumatizes the animal because at that point they're like, what's going on? I don't know why you're doing this.
It's not effective and it's not humane.
So whenever that does happen, even if it's happening in the moment and we see him, we just say, Teddy. We call out his name. He'll look in our direction, and then we'll pick him up and put him outside where he belongs. Mm-hmm. But we're not going to be like, no. We're not going to be swatting him or It's just because at that point he's an animal. First of all, he's just doing his thing. In his mind, he's just peeing because he needs to pee.
Yeah.
And so by hitting him, you're telling him, no, you're not supposed to pee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, still, animals are smarter. Dogs are smarter than most humans that I know. So anyway, but no. Other than that, I was thinking today as what a good, something that I've kind of been avoiding. Mm-hmm. We actually tried to talk about it in the past. But
hold on, I just touched the mic.
No,
we talked about this topic in the past, and it was actually our first episode.
But we didn't have 2 mics. And I was waiting to get a second mic, and we tried to do it with 1 mic, and it just, for editing purposes, it just didn't work.
Wait, how did we do it with 1 mic?
We were both sitting on either side, remember? Yeah, I was sitting on this side, and then you were sitting over here, but you were further away, so it sounded like you were...
I sounded like I was in the next room.
Hello.
So this was our first episode, but we just never published it, because...
we've all been through... the corona pandemic, it's like it's old hat by now. It's like, and we were just basically, I wanted to just kind of not even reboot because we never even published it.
But basically just kind of retell it in a new light. Because
yeah, exactly.
now that we have kind of like the flow of things, now that we know how to like, how the podcast is going to work, now we know how the flow of things go, I feel like we can get this episode redone and tell it better.
Much, much better. Yeah, we were kind of like, I sounded like a robot. Hello. Welcome to
Franklin.
Yeah.
Well, take me to your leader.
That's
so yeah.
true. But no, we've all, this is something that has bound basically globally everybody.
This is going on 2 years.
Yeah, it's going on 2 years, and I think that this has been the connecting point for humanity, is this global pandemic. And we just wanted to tell our, what we went through, the metamorphosis of what we went through in the pandemic, because we all have our own unique, way we coped with it, and some of us are still coping with it.
And also the experiences that we've had, like some people have lost family.
Yes.
Some people have not been able to see family in different parts of the states or overseas. We have people who are even trapped in different countries.
Yes, exactly.
Manny's watching this YouTuber who, I guess he's a food reviewer on YouTube, and it's this white guy, and he's pretty tall. And right now, a lot of his videos tend to be in Thailand, I want to say.
Yeah. If you hear that, that's my husband in the background. He's scurrying like a hamster, getting some kind of
I was going to say, what is
electronic equipment.
So he's watching this YouTuber. I think he's in Thailand, but he's essentially trapped over there.
Oh, not Mark Wiens, is it?
Is that who that is?
Well, Mark Wiens is the one that has that wide smile but I think he's been traveling. His channel is basically migrology, I think, but it's on YouTube.
I don't watch this YouTuber, so I don't know like what his channel's name. I just know that Manny watches it like a lot, and I'm like, Manny, why is this guy always in Thailand? Because I think he's watched like 20 videos already, and this guy's like just in Thailand. And like he's like, oh, he's trapped over there because of the pandemic, and so a lot of his videos are just over there.
Well, this one lives over there, so if this one's trapped over there, then that's another story. But So yeah, I mean, some of us have, like he said, lost families. Some of us can't even see our families. A lot of people are still out of work. Some people just don't want to work because, I mean, let's call it like we see it.
Hold on, no. I will say this. Some people are choosing not to go back to work because they're actually on a livable wage now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's sad.
And it is sad that you have so many jobs that weren't paying them livable wages to where now they are on a livable wage through unemployment benefits. And that's messed up because that should be from your job.
It should. It really shouldn't,
But you're right. There are some people who are like taking advantage of that.
Yeah, they don't. Malicious and they're living their best life, going out there and, balling, basically, getting their hair did, their nails done. And
buying new cars. Oh, there's been so many people who in our line of work, we come across certain individuals and they'll divulge that they get unemployment benefits or that they've had a stimulus check or so on and so forth. And basically they're using that money to they have brand new cars and stuff.
Yeah.
They have 4 cars and it's just one person. And I'm like, what the heck? Well, teach their own.
I mean, I was one that I got laid off for the first time in umpteen years, and I've worked all my life since I was 16. And I always did pretty well for myself, but still I was a single mother for a long time, so still but I got paid pretty damn good because of that first $600 a week. But one thing that people fail to realize is there was a divide that was created between the haves and the have-nots, is what I basically have chalked it up to. Is I lost my health insurance. I have a condition, that I require, monthly maintenance medication. And heaven forbid, if something happened to me, I mean, I just, now that I have,
Well, something did happen to you. You went months without that pain medication.
oh yeah, I literally, I mean, I went, yeah, tons. I couldn't afford to see the specialist. The specialist was like $450 a visit. So
And your pain medication alone without insurance would have been like hundreds of dollars.
hundreds of dollars, and I needed more than one.
But you're the kind of person who, even though you didn't have access to that medication, you pulled through.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that addictive personality. You've always
Yeah.
been the kind of person that, okay, well, if I don't have the
just did it.
medication, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to wait until the time comes where
I muscled through it. I mean, I was in a lot of pain, but the thing is, I had a lot of out-of-pocket expenses that I had to now take on myself. So I was barely breaking even. And of course, there's some.
The last thing on your mind was buying like a car or buying
Oh God, hell no!
a new
The
place.
only thing I did buy was new living room furniture.
Yeah,
and it wasn't anything like extravagant. Like we went to Ethan Allen. We went to a wholesale place.
Yeah.
And we got that.
I think you even went to the, here in Texas we have a lot of flea markets, open air flea markets, and I think you had even gone in like.
Well, no, a bunch of them were still closed. They were not allowed to be open.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about.
I went to that wholesale place way out, Dan's Wholesale Furniture. I mean, it took me 2 months going through the Facebook Marketplace, and then of course I was still kind of hesitant because COVID was still in its early stages.
And there was still not a lot of information. For sure there wasn't a vaccine, I don't think.
No, it was still early. And so it took me months to kind of really bargain shop. And then I found something that I was still pinching pennies, and we had, and let me tell you,
Pinching pennies like you were pinching loaves.
But let me tell you, one thing that did get tired really quick is cooking. And I love to cook.
And you had cooking fatigue, which is even shocking to me hearing that you had that, because you really do love to cook and people love your cooking.
It's like we were cloistered, all of us together, me, my other son, and my husband.
It gets to a point where it's like you cook every day, and it's like there's only so many recipes that you're willing to like try out, and like, and then after a while it's like you were like, okay,
and not to mention there was barely any food. HEB was having trouble keeping food on the shelves because everybody was, aside from hoarding toilet paper, they were
bulk buying
everything. So we lived for the first, I think, month or two off of just DoorDash or Uber Eats. And that was sad because we just could not find it within ourselves to cook yet again, and then more dishes. I actually became an avid paper plate purchaser at that point.
Actually, speaking about that, Manny and I have become an avid paper plate user and plastic utensil user because that's the one thing I hate doing in adulthood is washing dishes. I never liked it, and to this day I still don't like washing dishes. It's like my least favorite chore. So I told Manny, I'm just gonna buy some paper plates and some plastic utensils so we can just throw away the stuff. I mean, you can call me lazy all you want. Like, I don't have a problem with cooking.
I'll find it in the budget to work it in.
I don't have a problem with cleaning. I vacuum, I sweep, I clean up the living room, pick up my clothes, do all that. And it's just washing dishes. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just so I'd rather spend my time doing something else.
Oh, something else, yeah. No. So, and then of course there came the pounds.
Oh yeah.
God, the pandemic pounds.
For everybody, man. And because
you like to work out. So
I like to work out, and this pandemic closed the gyms. And so Planet Fitness was the one that I have a subscription to. And yeah, for sure I was no longer able to work out. And so I don't have a problem working out outside. In fact, that's what I would do prior to me getting the Planet Fitness subscription. So it basically just had me switch the way I do my workouts to where now I had to just jog outside. But then after a while, even that gets old. After so long of being accustomed to going in an indoor area, having it nice and air conditioned, having the equipment that you have at the gym that you don't have at home. Yeah. So it does get a little bit old to have to then do all that at home. you're like, ugh, because now you're jogging outside in the heat versus like in a nice air conditioned area. So yeah, so it got old quickly. And then I gained, then that workout routine started to wane a little. And then that's when I started seeing the pounds.
And then your hair started getting, my husband had like a pompadour,
Oh yeah, everyone's hair was the COVID hair.
The COVID hair. Yeah, I was like everybody. Lee had long hair. You had long hair. Getting those Farrah Fawcett, wings on your, I was like, man, so there was the hair. And then not to mention, for a lot of us, it's a reprieve to, you go out, you socialize at work, and then you come home. But when you're stuck together every single day, day in and day out, I was just like at my wit's end with, it's like, get away. And my husband were like,
well, I guess it wasn't that experience wasn't so much the same for our household because Manny and I are very much homebodies.
Well, we're homebodies too, but
like I can like literally I can be indoors 24/7.
It's something when you're choosing to, as a side to being told you had to, because we were under a shelter and stay.
Yeah, that is a very there is a difference there. Yeah, for sure. When you're being told you have to stay inside, and you're like, okay, well now I can go to the store if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a difference.
Did you use, because y'all where you live, we would always joke that he would always tell me that literally he was only like 50 feet away from Uber Eats delivering to his place.
So you have DoorDash, you have Uber Eats, you have all those like delivery apps. So at the time, Uber Eats, they had a little feature, like a little map feature where you were able to see, based on your location, does Uber Eats deliver to you? Mm-hmm. So on this map, they had a little green circle, and basically this little shape told you if you were within the range or outside the range. And my neighborhood was literally like 100 feet outside this circle. I'm like, really? I have to walk to the Valero, to the gas station, just to order some Uber Eats to then bring it back to my house.
But when pandemic hit,
then they expanded it. Because now everybody was using Uber Eats. People who had normally never even used it.
Because of where y'all lived.
So now they expanded the area, so I'm included in that little area now.
And it hasn't gone back. That was cool.
Yeah. It's basically it's updated.
Yeah.
Its range.
And one thing that I was excited about was because we had 7-Eleven delivered to our house too, and at the time my husband was smoking. Now he's quit smoking, so yay,
Yeah, that's good.
But we actually, the governor, which is one of the very few things that he has done right, allowed
Greg Abbott.
Allowed the you to order, alcohol. In a delivery, because you wasn't allowed before.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of that,
and drive-through margaritas.
I had no idea. I don't know if it was a thing pre-pandemic, but I certainly have just recently found out about this. But there are places that have drive-through. You can buy alcohol.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck?
They even have a food truck, which is basically a cocktail truck. And it's literally like the ice cream man. It got music. It goes through the neighborhoods. It has a Facebook page. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a little adult truck.
Yeah.
That, like an ice cream truck, but they sell not only ice cream and stuff, but they sell alcohol. They sell like all the little
capitalism right there.
Accoutrements that would like, hey, I want some salty peanuts with my margarita, but it literally is a thing, and I'm like, hey,
there you go. You have yourself a good time right there.
So a lot of places here did pivot, and they did really, really well. But gosh, we're still going through it.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that things have started to, thankfully
somewhat.
We have a vaccine. Well, you can't, the numbers don't lie. Thankfully we now have a vaccine, and a lot of people, including myself and you,
are fully vaccinated.
And other people are being fully vaccinated now. And so that number just keeps going up. And so we actually have seen restrictions loosened to accommodate being able to go out and do the things that we were used to, especially for those that have been vaccinated.
But suffice it to say, I don't know if even though I'm fully vaccinated, I still wear my mask.
Oh yeah, same here. I don't wear my mask as much, but I definitely am more conscious of when I should use it, even if I know I'm fully vaccinated. Like, for example, if I'm going to be out and I know I'm going to be like in a grocery store with other people there, even though the store isn't going to enforce the mask rule anymore, at that moment, I make a decision, okay, well, if there's going to be a lot of people here, I probably should still wear it. So, and most times I do. Other times, if I'm too much in a rush and I forget to bring my mask, it's at least nice knowing that, okay, well, at least I know I'm fully vaccinated and the store has loosened the restrictions. And so it's usually in those moments when I just go without the mask, but it's mostly because I forgot it or, you know.
But I find and I go to the grocery store here, often once a week, at least at HEB. And I do find that for the most part, people are still actively wearing their masks.
Yeah.
And that's
great.
I have
here
no
in Texas, here in San Antonio,
people
Texas,
have done a big 180.
Yes.
Because at first they were all anti.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just surprised to see that the culture of mask wearing was still so strong here in San Antonio. That people are still, even though they know that the mask mandate has been lifted, that people are still at least going out of their way to care for others. And so I like that about our city, that we're still doing that.
Yeah, and actually I think the numbers the last time that the mayor spoke before they stopped doing their weekly thing was that we were actually better than the national average as far as we haven't reached that herd immunity, because I think herd immunity is when you have 85% or more. I think we're right at like 62% now, the last time I checked. But for the most part, we're doing much better than the national average.
I wonder whatever happened to the culture of like just getting your vaccines because you're supposed to, it helps you, you're going to be helping others. Yeah. It's like that culture has died.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's because of social media. It's because of misinformation. It's because people...
Oh, gosh.
And you know what? It's understandable. I can see both sides of the coin. I understand why some people are skeptical. I understand why some people don't want to take it. And everyone has the right to make their own decisions. I just feel that too many people fall victim to the misinformation out there when it's genuine misinformation.
And I will be one of those to admit that when they were first, announcing that the vaccine was ready to, I was one of those that was like, I ain't going to take anything under that administration. And without saying, names, but everybody, people can kind of, they can deduce what I'm talking about. But I was like, no. But it's just I've learned now through education that it's not a live virus, because it's just a map that they're injecting into you to trigger that's the best way I can say. It's a blueprint of you're telling your body, when you see this, then you fight it.
There's this funny meme. I just have to, hopefully I can describe it well. So there was this meme I saw, and the caption was, it was two pictures. And so the first picture was an image of a scientist in their lab doing their research, and the caption was vaccination research. And then it shows that image of the scientist doing his his work. And then it says anti-vaxxer research. And then that second image was some white lady on the toilet on her phone.
Oh my God.
It just made me laugh because I was like, that's so true. Like, a lot of anti-vaxxers, their research is literally just scrolling through their phone. Oh my God, I read this, and this is why you can't get it. You're gonna be magnetized, and you're gonna have a chip put inside you. But it's like, but where did you get that research? Where did you see it? What's the evidence? People need to be more
Where's
active.
Your PhD?
They need to be proactive. Yeah, like there's a lot of research. There's a lot of science. There's a lot of data that backs up vaccinations, why they're good. And I've just, like I said, I'm of the mindset where if by getting the vaccine, I can possibly help out many other lives that I come into contact with, then I'm totally going to do it.
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna be. It's like basically it's like that altruistic sort of attitude.
We're not these people that say we got our PhD at Wikipedia University, you know, or WebMD University. You know?
I think you just have to use common sense, and a lot of people don't have that.
Oh, if you heard, I hit my headset on the.
Teddy is just here. He's chilling. He's literally I noticed that whenever Teddy visits my mother, he goes into like a 20-minute frenzy where he's like, I gotta sniff everything. I gotta go.
And he knows that there's cats here.
Yeah, but he was raised around cats, so he loves them.
And then my cats are like, like, whoa.
Wait, what's this strange looking cat?
Well, yeah. Well, Meowface is okay with him. He kind of just like.
Oh, they're both fine with him. They literally don't hiss, they don't swipe at him. They just, if Teddy gets even close to them, they'll stay where they're at, but they just kind of like move their head back a little, like, whoa, what's
except
this?
for Crunkles, right?
Crunkles keeps away.
Goes,
which, by the way, can you believe that name for a cat?
Mr.
Crunkle?
Crunkles.
So, I think Crunkles is like
the orange menace.
I know. I think I think the word crunkle or crunk is to like get crazy drunk. So,
he's a hood cat that was rescued.
My brother has like the strangest names for cats. So Mr. Crunkle he's a street cat. And so he has a little fight in him, but he's never hit him. He's never like actually swiped at him, but he has like made it known like, hey, with a little bit of a.
He goes.
And Teddy's like, over here. I know to stay away.
He's like, whoa, okay, I got that memo loud and clear. I heard that, and I can't hear.
But your cats are more calm about it because they were raised in a shelter, or
No, they were rescue. Well,
they were rescue cats, but also like I think a lot of an animal's attitude or behavior has to do with how they're raised, the type of owner that they have.
Yeah.
And so if you have a cat or if you have a dog and you raise them
to be aggressive,
to be aggressive, or that your own behavior is that of being aggressive owner, then they're going to be aggressive towards other animals. I feel.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, because when my Russian Blue was actually, I had him since he was 2 weeks old. He was a bottle baby foster. Mm-hmm. And of course he was a foster failure. So my husband just fell in love with him.
Wait, he was a foster failure?
He was. When I was working at the Humane Society on Maui, they were actually, somebody brought him in. He was found on the golf course in Maui Lani. And so we were literally... I already had 6 at home, 6 kittens that I was fostering, because as an employee, we can actually foster babies that are called bottle babies. And then we have a specialized unit of actual regular people in the community that are trained to do that.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't have, it was 2 of them that were brought in. And they were literally 2 weeks old. Their eyes were barely opening. Oh, and they said, well, I mean, if we can't find anybody, we're going to have to, euthanize them.
Yeah.
Because we were full. And Maui doesn't have a season because, where the cats go into heat, because the weather's so tropical, they're
always in
season. And so I was like, oh, hell no, I'm going to have to. So I said, I'll take him.
That's so weird to me. Like, the cats have a season. Yeah. Like it's fucking produce or something.
They're going to expire soon. No, but I said, I'll just take him. I took him, and I go home, and my husband's like, oh, God, 2 more kids. And so I had to literally get up every 2 hours to feed them during the night, and then you stimulate their little area so they can pee or poop.
Pee and poop, because the mama cat will naturally lick that area to kind of stimulate them.
Yeah, and when finally it was time, when he was finally old enough, but they were both old enough. They were 3 pounds, which is the magic number we look for. Is 3
and
pounds.
That's the lightest he's ever been. Because he's certainly not.
He's a thick boy. My husband says, no, he's perfect. I go, he's
big boned.
He's big boned. He's a Russian. So yeah, they're kind of, they have that predisposition to be heavier. And so he said, no, he's not going back. And I'm like,
you calling Russian people fat?
I'm like,
just play.
No, I said, Steve, you don't even like cats, And he said, no, this one's special. He's got the eye of Horus.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he was a failure. He was my one and only foster failure. Out of the 30 plus cats I fostered, he was the first one. And so he's never been raised by another animal. He's only been raised by humans, so he thinks he's a human.
Oh, you know what? Going back into COVID experiences and whatnot. So I'm lucky. We're at the time, I was lucky to be an essential worker, so I didn't lose my job.
And I wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, my mother was not. She was in the private sector. But yeah, I was lucky enough to be a essential worker. I never lost my job. Prior to March, because that's when the pandemic was like officially announced and so whatnot. Because it had been going on for a few months prior, but there was no like media coverage.
Yeah, there was not.
But
really.
So prior to that, along with my full-time job as an essential worker, I also had a little part-time job as an Ulta employee. And so that one, when March came around 2020, that's when they were finally like, hey, you know, we're going to close Ulta. We're going to let go people. Or we're going to have you furloughed so that we can at least get benefits and whatnot and still have your job security when we decide to open up. So I was let go, but I never really needed, I didn't need the benefits. I'm getting tongue-tied. Tongue-tied?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. See, I'm tired.
The word of the day today is tongue-tied.
So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so even though I was let go from Ulta, I didn't need the benefits.
Because we have good benefits right now. Yeah, I'm now essential too.
No, I didn't need like the unemployment benefits.
Oh yeah, of course.
But a lot of my coworkers, that was their full-time job, and so they didn't have that job security anymore. So they had to go into the unemployment benefits. A lot of them did make more on the unemployment benefits, which is sad, like I said, because, you know,
it shouldn't be that way.
These companies should pay their workers what they deserve, a living wage, benefits. That way they can go see a doctor and not have to put themselves into debt or make decisions like, okay, it's my rent or it's my medication or seeing this doctor. So, yeah, that was my...
And then you had those that were upset and had a lot of animosity towards the people that were on unemployed benefits.
Oh yeah.
And the way I thought is, you know what? If you don't like this, then you should go to and be that voice to affect change in your company, so that you're brought up to a living wage.
Yeah.
And not take a lot of anger out on people that are finally at that livable wage.
Yeah.
And
it really just comes back down to being active in your community, being active in making change in terms of like making policy change, you know, reaching out to your local representatives, voting.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I think being active in that sense matters.
And I mean, me and my son have always. I mean, I would like to think that he's very passionate about, you know, when it comes to
political science was my minor.
Okay, yeah, because that's where my degree is. My bachelor's is in political science.
My major was psychology.
Yeah, but I
so
mean,
isn't that weird? Like psychology and political science.
Growing up, did you see me not really, always go out and vote? And
oh yeah, you were always prominent about talking about voting. You know, or at least talking to us about the importance of voting, and then you would also be very active. At least when we were living in Maine, I would,
I would get home late because of the elections and stuff,
and no matter whether you're Democratic, Republic, Libertarian, Green Party, whatever party you affiliate with, I always encourage people to just go out and vote for some policy. Vote for what do they call it? Not measures. When they have like initiatives. Local initiatives, representatives on the local level for sure. Because I feel like you get more change on the local level, and it's kind of like a trickle up effect.
Oh yeah, and it's these small steps that you take that make the largest sweeps.
So it really bugs me. I have a couple of... Oi, he almost fell off the bed.
Poor baby.
But there's a couple of people in my life whom I'm acquaintance with, and they are just... They're so against voting. They're so against being involved in politics.
Well, the way...
Or being oblivious to it. Like, they're willingly oblivious to it. No, hold on.
The way
sorry, my dog is like...
The way I see it then, not to cut you off, but the way I see it, people that are not actively involved in exercising their right to affect change in the most easy democratic process, I say to those people, then you have no reason to complain when the state of the world or the state of your city
doesn't go your way.
Doesn't go your way, because guess what? You didn't have anything to do with it. So then you should just accept your
whatever outcome is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because a lot of these people. So anyway, going back to what I was saying. So I have a couple of people in my life who they tell me they like, oh, I don't believe in voting, and oh, there's no point in voting, and oh, it's all corrupt. And I get it. There probably are some corrupt politicians in office, but that's why you're supposed to be proactive. You're supposed to read up on these people's voting records, look at your local representatives and look at what they're speaking about, look at the measures and policies they're willing to advocate for, and be a part of that change, instead of just calling out the corruption if you happen to have the corruption there, but then not doing anything about it.
Well, yeah, because especially when at the local level, your tax dollars pay their salary.
Yeah.
So, but in essence, they work for you. People forget that these public officials work for them.
And here's the thing. People will see, because you'll tell these people, you'll tell these certain types of individuals to do the research, like, read up on it. And their idea of research is just whatever they see scrolling in their news
feed.
Yeah,
that's how, like I said, Wikipedia, Fox News of all places, please.
Instead of going to the source and looking at, okay, what's this individual's record on voting? Like, how have they voted before? What is it that they've said publicly? And then what's the opposition saying? What's the opposition saying? What has been their record, at least voting wise? What is it that their stance is? What is their stance on certain policies already in place, or that they're willing to advocate for? And then doing a compare and contrast, making a little Venn diagram if you have to.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's and it's hard work. It's hard work to have to involve and be proactive and look at the research and look at the data. And I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to do that. They just want to see, oh, I saw this information scrolled on my Facebook newsfeed, therefore it must be true. When they fail to realize that, okay, yeah, there is little gems of information out there, but a lot of it is curated to fit your narrative already. A lot of the algorithms send you stuff because...
Well, there are some .gov sites, too, that actually keep these records.
Exactly.
I mean, it's public information. It's public access. So, I mean, look at that. Sorry, we're having some iced tea, some sweet tea. As you know, the South here, we love our sweet tea. But I mean, I think that it is important to keep that privilege alive and, protect it, because especially now, there's a bunch of states that have started infringing on those voting
rights. Yeah, especially towards people of color, so Black and your brown people, who
minorities basically.
It's going to affect them more than anything, because you have disenfranchised areas within these cities, within these states, that
lots of heavy gerrymandering too.
Yes. Anyways, that's a whole other topic. We're getting into politics, and we're talking about COVID.
I know, right? I know.
That could be another topic. Have we even done an episode like that?
No, but COVID didn't really hinder, as far as I know. Here in San Antonio, they still came out and voted.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very proud that we did so well.
And Manny actually looks at the numbers. Like, he will go to... and this is something that I personally don't know what site he goes to, but it tells you right there like what the county voting numbers are, and it tells you how many people voted this way.
Well, he also has to know, without getting too personal, he is high up in the hierarchy of local government. So
he has to kind of keep it in. He has to know this information for his line of work. But I know he's always looking at what the voting record is, who voted for what, because I think one local election that we had, he showed me the numbers, and it literally, like, one ballot measure passed because it was literally a difference of like 30 people.
Wow.
And that's on the local level. So that's 30 people who decided to, you know what, I am going to go ahead and vote. And literally, like, this policy that was going to be put into place that would have a huge effect was put into place because 30 people decided to vote. Yeah. And so that it really does matter. People's votes matter.
They did make a difference.
And you know what? I get people's
hesitation
when they say, oh, my vote doesn't matter, when you're thinking about
on a large scale,
like your presidential elections, when you literally have like millions of people. It's hard to kind of see your vote in a sea of millions of people.
And even then, on that national level, it made a big difference.
Yeah, it matters because then it's like I said, it's a trickle up
effect.
So it's more so people who in these rural counties, in these local counties, who went out and voted, which then affects that county's color, which then affects overall the state's, which way the state leans. So it really does matter. And anyways, so that's I can tire myself out talking about this, and I'm gonna get heated up.
Oh yes, me too. I'm gonna get heated up too. So look who's here.
The Russians are here.
The Russians are here. Yes, my cat Graybeard.
He's a Russian blue.
He's a Russian blue, and he's here. You know,
he's the only Russian I love. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, but other than that, I guess COVID is still, I mean, even though we see a light at the end of that really long tunnel, I knew that we were not, because people were saying, oh, yes, let's just get rid of 2020 and I can't wait because 2021. No, I knew that 2021 was not going to be any better. I knew that there was too much collateral damage that we needed to recover from. Oh yeah, and I think we're not even gonna. I mean, and I'm just speaking and making this prediction now that we all can all say, yeah, she said it. We're not going to start seeing, I think, any sense of normalcy returning back to how things were
until at least 2022.
And I'm even then hazarding to guess second half of 2022.
Yeah.
Because right now we've got...
there's too many people who still aren't getting the vaccine, even though the numbers are great, even though technically, the current administration has reached their goal that they set for themselves. It's just more so like getting those last few people vaccinated to really just kind of help us. Because
a bunch of the economic recovery.
People are frustrated. Like, oh, why do I still have to wear a mask? Well, if you don't want to wear a mask, push to get people vaccinated. Like, tell them, hey, get your child vaccinated. And I get it. I get there's risks for anything. Anything in life is a risk. You smoking the cigarette right now is a risk. You could die from it. So yes, there could be some adverse side effects from getting a vaccine. I'm sure that there are very small, very rare cases where something does happen. But it's the exception. It's the very small possibility of something like that happening.
Okay, but here's the thing. That's the difference. The possibility versus the absolute surety of what can happen to you that we know can happen if you get COVID. And that's, I would rather...
You will get sick.
You will,
there's a possibility that you will die.
Because a lot of people have died.
Especially if you're in a vulnerable population. If you're one of the vulnerable populations of people who does contract the virus. So there is an absolute that you will get sick. These are the symptoms that you'll have, and there is a possibility that you can die, versus getting the vaccine,
and
helping others, and having a sore arm. And it's the risk benefit factor. It's the risk is very, very minute. It's tiny. It's like I I think
it's like less
1 in
than
millions or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I think 1 in 1 million.
Which is versus you getting the virus and then spreading it to like possibly 20 other people that you come into contact with.
And then you'll if you survive the virus, you're going to have a lot of people have that permanent scarring in the lungs that now affect you in the long term.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, go out there, get vaccinated. It's free.
Yeah. Or it should be free. If anyone tells you, oh no, you got to pay for it. No. It's paid for.
It is already paid for. It is free. It is the difference of you,
life and death.
Living or dying. And just do your part.
And also being able to finally go out into the open maskless.
Yes, if you choose. I personally choose to wear my mask still because I feel comfortable that way. And you know what?
No, what I meant by is maskless in the sense of us being as a society getting back to not having to worry about all of this anymore.
And we can also now start, doing things that we're so used to in the past that we don't want it to become obsolete, like traveling. And cruising, because I hope next year I'll be cruising with my son and his partner, and it will be fun. I want to go. Franklin, I'm so sorry about that. He just does it like nobody's business.
I had to. Sometimes you guys gotta let it out.
Oh my gosh, this is not Dr. Pimple Popper. I will say this. Thank God my watching habits on YouTube had changed too, because I found that I found a lot of comfort in watching these cleaning with me videos.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just watching other people. I mean, there's this one, Kelly, from Kelly's Corner. It's Kelly with a K, Corner with a K. Y'all should watch her. She's actually she's become one of my favorites. But she was out there, talking about, I'm a single mother struggling, and this pandemic just ain't making things easier. So it wasn't like all sugarcoating stuff. She had her moments too. So it was a coping. It was a way for me to kind of.
I've started watching some channels that I thought I never would get into.
Well, you got me into Mr. Ballin.
Oh yeah. And actually, the channels I find myself watching now, but thanks to COVID, are more lifestyle vlog channels or more story driven channels like Mr. Ballin, who does like a lot of creepy, dark, mysterious stories.
I love hearing how he's going to describe the like button.
Yeah. He's always having his subscribers like torture the like button in some type of way.
If you like this content, today the one I watched was go under the table of the like button and tie their shoestrings together. And I'm like, what? He really hates that like button. And I can never find the secret. Never find the secret.
Oh, yeah, me either.
I'm like, what?
Whenever he gets to the point of the video where he's like, and if you found the secret today, I'm like, what secret?
I know. And I try to watch other people when he always puts the last.
But even people who put the timestamp of where the secret was, I still can't find it.
No, I'm like, what? I'm blind. So y'all should go watch Kelly's Corner and Mr. Ballin. He was actually a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, true. Navy SEAL who, now has a family, but in his, and
he was medically discharged because of a grenade or something.
But also, what a cool father to be able to have a father who's able to tell a story like that. Like, can you imagine like his kids going to bed at night and he's telling them a scary story?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, he's got me hanging on every word. I'm like, tell me what happened to that person.
I know. And then some of these stories though are like crazy. Like the people find themselves in these really like oddball or like even life-threatening situations, and you're like, whoa, this happened. But anyways, yeah. So watch those two channels.
And aside from that, guys, this podcast was all over the place. But hey,
it's part of the soup.
It's part of our random stream of consciousness.
It's the soup experience you get here, whether you like it or not. You can't take it back to the chef.
Yes, you can't go. You can't.
There's no refund. There's no refunds here.
Whether there's a fly in your soup or not. Hey, suck it up.
Hey, it's protein.
But as always, you can always send any suggestions, if your random kind of subjects, send it to mishmashsoup214@gmail.com. You can always follow Franklin
at The Classy Queer. That's My Instagram, The Classy Queer, all one word.
All one word, no underscores, no nothing, no periods, anything, just The Classy Queer. And follow us. I'm still working on our Instagram. It's just Mishmash Soup. But give us a follow and show us a little love. Mm-hmm. And hopefully,
there'll be more content to come. I'm still tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied, yes, I'm gonna. Other than that, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.